So the Indianapolis Colts heading into this year had pretty low expectations, and me personally, I had them going 5-12. As well, they had a pretty good roster and a good head coach. Their quarterback situation was really bleak, as their two options were Anthony Richardson and Daniel Jones. Now ultimately, Daniel Jones did win the starting job, but as I record this video, the Colts are 8-2, they own the best record in the AFC and in the NFL overall, and they've been way better than expected. And in today's video, I wanted to talk about the Indianapolis Colts and how they've been able to overexceed expectations greatly, and answer the question on if they are truly a Tier 1 Super Bowl contender. Now before we do get started, of course, go ahead and hit that like button if you guys end up enjoying the video, since it really does help out the channel. And of course, subscribe if you guys are new and you guys enjoy videos like the one you're watching right now, and so you don't miss out on any new content. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get things started. So the first thing we should talk about is the Colts offense, because they have been amazing and historically good on that side of the ball, and I am not joking when I say that. Indianapolis has put up 30 points in 7 of their games so far this year, and over 400 yards of offense in 5 of them. And statistically, Indianapolis is number 1 in team offense, 2nd in passing offense, number 1 in rushing offense, 1st in points per drive and points per game, 8th and 3rd down percentage, and 5th in red zone percentage. And along with that, they are elite in most efficiency stats. And as I alluded to before, Indianapolis has a lot of talent on their roster, and that is especially the case with the offensive side of the ball. Jonathan Taylor has been the best running back in the league this year by a light year, and truthfully, he's had an all-time great season, and it's been comparable to what Saquon Barkley was doing last year. And honestly, you could argue that Jonathan Taylor this year has been better than Saquon Barkley was last year, and that's even without recency bias. Jonathan Taylor, I mean, he really has been that damn good, and not only is there a good chance that he wins Offensive Player of the Year, but he should be in the MVP conversation. And okay, it is a quarterback award, so we know he's not going to win it, but if you did take away that unwritten rule, you could definitely argue for Jonathan Taylor to win that award, because he really has been that good. And I mean, what else can you really say about him besides the fact that he's been one of the best running backs in the NFL ever since he got drafted to Indianapolis back in 2020. Along with that, Tyler Warren, the Colts' first-round pick from this past year's NFL draft, has already established himself as one of the best tight ends in the NFL, and he might just win Offensive Rookie of the Year. The Colts' wide receiving core is really good, as Michael Pittman Jr. is one of the best wideouts in the league. Josh Downs is good. Same thing with Alec Pierce. And the Colts' offensive line is one of the better units in the NFL as well, as while they aren't a very good pass blocking unit, they are pretty good when it comes to run blocking, as they are 5th in run block win rate, according to ESPN. And of course, the most surprising part of it all has to be Daniel Jones, because he's been playing like one of the better quarterbacks in the NFL this year in 2025. And Daniel Jones was one of the worst quarterbacks in the league up until this year, as aside from 2 okay seasons with the Giants, he was awful for them. And before 2025, to many people's surprise, he won the starting job, but a lot of people thought he would be a massive weak link on the Colts and would in turn hold them back significantly, and a lot of people disagreed with the decision to start him over Anthony Richardson in the first place, as Anthony Richardson was like a top 5 pick just a couple of years back, and he was a known project, and while he had been absolutely horrible up until that point, most people were more willing to just take the risk with Anthony Richardson possibly panning out or possibly not panning out, rather than stick with Daniel Jones, who they believed at this point was just who he was, like a backup level quarterback. But Daniel Jones has done the opposite of holding the Colts back, as he's actually played quite well for them. And he's brought stability to the quarterback position, which is something that Indianapolis hasn't really had since 2020, when they had Phillip Rivers as their quarterback for like 1 season. And so far, Daniel Jones has thrown for 2,659 passing yards, which leads the league. He has 15 passing touchdowns and 7 interceptions while running for 5 touchdowns and being pretty efficient. Now, I don't think Daniel Jones is an elite quarterback by any means, but he has improved a lot, and he's shown that with a good team, he can actually play pretty well. Now, with that said, I still have some question marks about Daniel Jones, as he did show in that Steelers game, if you can slow down Indianapolis' ground game, which is easier said than done, and force him to beat you, he can fall apart. And again, Daniel Jones has been solid, but I don't think he is an elite quarterback, and if he is put into a position where he has to win the Colts the game, who knows if he can do that. And lastly, for the offense, Shane Steichen deserves a lot of credit for the job he's done, as I always thought he was a good head coach despite the underwhelming 2024 campaign that he had, and I felt that was more so because of how bad Anthony Richardson was, as Shane Steichen, he is a really good offensive mind and is really good at elevating teams with mediocre quarterback play, and he's helped completely transform Daniel Jones. And Shane, he should honestly be in the running for Coach of the Year for the job he's done. And part of me also has to wonder, how bad is Anthony Richardson? Like, I know he was a project player who was going to take time to develop, but he was ass cheeks with Indy despite the supporting cast that they had. And not even Shane Steichen could fix him. And if someone like Shane Steichen can't fix you, like, again, how bad can you be? And I mean, Anthony Richardson, again, even though he was very raw coming out of Florida, he never should have played that poorly with the kind of team that Indianapolis has. And it's crazy to think that before the season, Shane Steichen was on the hot seat and was getting a ton of heat for starting Daniel Jones over Anthony Richardson. But as it stands right now, Shane Steichen's job is very safe, and he has turned Daniel Jones' career around. Now, when it comes to Indianapolis' defense, they've been okay on that side of the ball, as they are 30th in passing defense, but 11th in rushing defense. But when it comes to efficiency stats, they're better as a passing defense than they are a running defense, and they are 9th in points per game, but they're 27th in third down percentage and 22nd in red zone percentage and 22nd in points per drive. Now, when it comes to the individual talent, DeForest Buckner is still an elite defensive tackle, despite the fact that he is a little old and he did unfortunately get injured, but he should be back for like the end of the regular season and the playoffs. Laiatu Latu, he's broken out after a pretty quiet rookie year. And Grover Stewart, he is a really good run stopper. Now, Zaire Franklin, he sadly has had a big down season, but usually he is one of the best linebackers in the NFL. He's also a demon for my fantasy team typically. And when it comes to the secondary, Kenny Moore, he has continued to be one of the best slot cornerbacks in the league. Charvarius Ward has been really good when he's healthy. And Mekhi Blackman has been a solid addition. And we also can't forget about the massive trade that they pulled off at the deadline to acquire Sauce Gardner from the Jets. And that deal came out of nowhere. In Indy, they did give up 2 first-rounders, which is a lot. But Sauce Gardner is one of the best cornerbacks in the league, and he drastically improves this unit by a lot. And this trade shows that the Colts are in win-now mode. And like I said before, the Colts defense is okay, but they're not exactly an amazing unit. But in my opinion, Sauce Gardner can change that, and I really do like that move for Indianapolis. Again, they gave up a lot, but you do need to give up a lot when it comes to acquiring these very good players like Sauce Gardner. And again, he's one of the best cornerbacks in the league, so it's worth giving up 2 first-rounders, to acquire him. And aside from that, Cameron Bynum has also been a pretty good safety for Indianapolis and has been a really good free agency signing. And Nick Cross is a good box safety and run stopper. Now, when you take a look at Indianapolis' remaining schedule, they played the Kansas City Chiefs, the Texans twice, the Jaguars twice, the Seahawks, and the 49ers. And their schedule is definitely not that easy, as the Chiefs are, well, still the Chiefs. Seattle is one of the best teams in the league. The 49ers have been really good despite the fact that they've been ravaged by injuries. And both the Texans and Jaguars are okay teams. They aren't exactly amazing, but they aren't terrible either. But I do think Indianapolis should win in between like 3 to 6 of their remaining games. And I think they should win the AFC South, barring some random collapse or like the Texans or Jaguars going on some random legacy run. Now, to answer the question on if the Colts are a tier 1 contender, I'm going to say that they're a tier below the tier 1 contenders and that they're like a tier 2 team. And some people will disagree with that. And look, I can understand if you have Indianapolis as a tier 1 team, and they are very good. Do not get me wrong. And they have a lot of the components needed to win it all. They have a good roster. They're elite on one side of the ball and, fine on another. And that other side of the ball, their defense should only get better. They have a good head coach. And Daniel Jones, again, he has played like a good quarterback this year, but ultimately, Daniel Jones is my biggest question mark with this team. I mean, look, like I said before, while Daniel Jones has shown that he is a good quarterback, he is very team dependent. And again, if he's asked to win the Colts a game, is he going to be able to do that? I'm not saying that you need Patrick Mahomes or Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson to win a Super Bowl. You don't. Like, we saw the Eagles win a Super Bowl last year with Jalen Hurts as their quarterback. And Jalen Hurts, while he's not an elite quarterback, he is a very good quarterback. But, point is, Daniel Jones, again, he's good, but he needs to show that he can also kind of elevate the Colts a little bit and that he can, win them games if he is asked to shoulder, more of a workload and depend a little bit less, on the guys around him. So, yeah, again, the Colts, great team, but yeah, Daniel Jones is a question mark, and I'll admit, even their defense is still a little bit of a question mark because, like I said before, their defense is just fine, and they did acquire Sauce Gardner, and I do think Sauce Gardner should improve this unit, but I mean, what if he can't for whatever reason? In that case, that is going to be a little bit of an issue, but ultimately, it has been a really good season for the Colts so far, and yeah, again, they've been one of the best teams in the league this year, and they might have found their franchise quarterback in Daniel Jones, funny enough, and maybe the Indianapolis Colts will win the Super Bowl in the next year or two. So, yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. It really does mean a lot to me. Again, make sure you guys do like and subscribe if you guys haven't already, and check me out on social media. The links to my Twitter and Instagram are in the description below. But without further ado, I'm out, you guys.